calling all my footy fans from all around the globe. Straight out of NYC, this is The Line Breaker.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to The Line Breaker. My name is Pano.
I'm Demetri, aka Juicy.
And we are coming at you remote. We are not in person. I am speaking to Demetri over the computer right now, so apologies if the audio quality has gone down a notch. But, we are doing this remote, but we could not skip a week of Champions League because there were some huge results this week, game week 2. We wanted to talk about them. We wanted to bring them to you. So, yeah, I know Demetri was very excited after this Champions League week, Barca being 2-0 again. Just before we get into everything, how about you give me some opening thoughts on game week 2 of the Champions League, Demetri?
Just gonna bounce around here. Valverde sent a soccer ball to space. I don't know if you got to see the last goal in the Madrid-Napoli game. I think the ball broke the crossbar.
It also might have broke, what was it, Merritt's head? Was that the goalie?
Yeah, he might be concussed, but that's a whole different story.
We wouldn't have to worry about that right now.
Onana is terrible pass. Results in a Casemiro red card and a penalty. Despite Galatasaray missing the penalty, they're playing a man up the rest of the game, and they end up scoring the game winner. Union Berlin, not a great showing at home. Kind of choked that away in front of the 70,000 crowd, although it wasn't their home stadium. And I think the biggest storyline is Mbappe not showing up and Newcastle running rampant.
That's got to be the result of the game week. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. And certainly our predictions definitely did not see that one coming as well. So silence, dead silence, because Juicy's still thinking about Barcelona and how they got away with another, questionable refereeing job during their game.
Before we get into the individual games and going in depth, do you want to give us an update in your power rankings, Pano's power rankings?
Pano's power rankings. I don't even know what that is. You ever heard of Pano's power rankings? I'm just
circle
kidding.
Back to one of the...
Listen, the most anticipated thing of this game week, obviously, was Pano's power rankings. Let me tell you. Okay. So this is what we got going on. As we said, or as we said, Pano's power picks. But it's gonna be my top 5 power rankings. We have had some movement this week. That's for sure. Now, just to recap last week, my power rankings were as follows. Number 1, Barcelona. Number 2, Bayern Munich. Number 3, Arsenal. Number 4, Manchester City. And number 5, Real Madrid. Now, Demetri questioned me at every turn. Why did I not put Paris Saint-Germain in my top 5 in place of Real Madrid? And you know what? I am vindicated this week. I am vindicated. And yeah, we're gonna keep that going. Very happy with that. Now, shall I start from number 5?
Start from number 5.
All right. So this one's gonna be controversial, and actually, this is my power rankings, just based on what my opinion of them is, but it's also mainly on how they're performing right now. And right now they are first place in their group with 4 points. And that is Newcastle United. They have shocked everyone. They didn't defeat PSG. They annihilated PSG. I think annihilation is a pretty fair word for what they did, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even close. PSG did not come to play.
PSG didn't come to play, and Newcastle came to absolutely demolish them. They outran them, they outworked them, and they outfinished them. So Newcastle United is now first place in a group that has some pretty decent European pedigree. Not that PSG has very much European pedigree, but they definitely have a reputation. Followed by Milan, and Borussia Dortmund. Both of the two clubs that I mentioned, Milan and Dortmund, have won the Champions League before. So there's a lot of pedigree in there. Now, Newcastle United, although I did pick them to finish last, hey, they're in first place right now, so fair play. They're going to be my 5th place team on my power rankings. Now, number 4 is going to be Manchester City. They continue, they're cruising, and so far so good for Man City. They're looking good. I'm liking how it's going. Now, I know that this could be a little controversial because you could argue maybe that Manchester City have been a little bit more comfortable than another team that I'm going to mention that's going to be above them. But at the same time, Manchester City have a much easier group, in my opinion, than the team that I'm going to mention after them. But again, smooth sailing for Manchester City. They've outscored their opponents 6-2 in these games. And right now, I'm not really sure what we're going to get from this Manchester City team in terms of output during the group stages. Obviously, they looked good, another 3-1 comfortable win, but I just think, they have an extremely easy group, and my 4th and 3rd place choices are purely based on the the difficulty of the group. What's that?
Carry on.
Oh, okay. This guy's just interrupting me. It's crazy. All right, so
I'll throw you off.
my 3rd place pick, they are moving up. They have actually moved up 2, is Real Madrid, and I'm going to give you reasons as to why I'm putting them above Manchester City. Real Madrid, 2 wins again. They scraped through a win against Berlin, and they scraped through a win against Napoli. But in my opinion, overall, I think they have a tougher group. I think that they have tougher opponents. I think Braga has proved to be a very difficult opponent, as Union Berlin have been able to attest to. So I think, once they've faced Braga, that's also going to be a tough test for them. But that's another test that I think they should be able to dispatch. They should be able to dispatch Braga. Jude Bellingham is ridiculous. As you mentioned before, Valverde was that shot was sick. Tell me not.
Yep, I thought he broke the crossbar, but it was a straight up missile.
He broke Merritt's head instead, after it ricocheted off the crossbar onto Merritt's head and then into the goal. That was ridiculous. And again, overall, 2 wins on the bounce for Real Madrid. It's looking good for them. Now, this is where we're going to get a little controversial here, but I'm going to go for it anyway. My pick now for 2nd place is going to be FC Barcelona. I'm only dropping them because I don't think that they performed very well against Porto, and I think that they were a little lucky, with some favorable calls towards them to win that game. So even though Barcelona is again in the lead, they've won comfortably again. They've outscored their opponents 6-0. They have 0 goals against so far. I think they're dropping again purely based on level of opponent, although Porto is obviously a good team, and you could argue Porto is definitely a better team than Copenhagen. I think overall, Barcelona, they got away with this one a little bit. I wasn't too crazy about their performance this week, so I'm putting Barcelona at 2nd. Number 1, who I think is going to win the Champions League still, especially if they do get a midfielder in January, is Bayern Munich. Another win for Bayern Munich. They are now 2 wins on the bounce again, with Galatasaray to face next, and I believe that they will dispatch Galatasaray very easily. Bayern Munich are looking good, outscoring their opponents 6-4, so a little leaky defense from Thomas Tuchel, but listen, with Harry Kane, you can do anything. So that rounds out my top 5. We go Bayern Munich 1st, Barcelona 2nd, Real Madrid 3rd, Manchester City 4th, and we got the big boys, Newcastle United, in 5th. Arsenal dropping out of the top 5 after they capitulated and lost to Lens. So yeah, that's what we're going for. What do you think?
Kind of like it. I think the only adjustment I would make is I would drop Barca to 3 and have Madrid go 2.
You think so? And you wouldn't raise City up?
I wouldn't raise City up quite yet. Um, but I do think Madrid has faced better competition, and at the end of the day, they got the results that were needed. They played Union Berlin the first game, although they won it late, and then beat Napoli in Italy.
Now, I like that we have our picks, our Pano's, power picks. I think we need to introduce a new segment to the show. You think I know what I'm gonna say?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
I think that we should introduce not our power picks, but our piss picks. No, I'm just kidding. We shouldn't call it that. Definitely should not call it that. Our bottom 5 teams, or I would say our 5 low performers of the group stage so far. What do you think about that?
We could do something like that, but it seems I already have a couple on my mind.
I already have a couple on my mind too. How about this? We don't have to do it for this week. We could do it when we do the preview for the next game week, because I want to do a preview for the next game week. We could do it then. I'm gonna let this one marinate in your head right now. By the way, guys, we're doing this completely off the cuff. This was not planned, this part. We haven't even spoken about it before, but I'm looking at these standings and I'm just thinking, whew, there are some underperformers in here. How about we go through some underperformers right now? Manchester United.
We can go through that, but I know you said that you're gonna enjoy the Champions League a lot more and European football in general, but especially the Champions League since Chelsea isn't in. And you told me before the competition started you had a team that you were rooting for, but weren't too big on, but if you had to pick one, you like this team. Can you talk to us about your favorite team from Switzerland? They had a draw this week in Serbia. How do you think they did? Do you still think that? Are you still rooting for them?
I'm not a fan of the Swiss team, Young Boys. That's false.
They're in a Europa League spot right now.
And I mean, I see no reason why they can't go through, but they're tied with Red Star right now. Yeah, they are tied with Red Star, so there's no guarantee. And Red Star looked pretty commanding in the beginning of that match. I mean, you were able to watch most of that game, right? Or some of it on wait, what is it called again? Paramount Plus
I
what?
didn't.
The Golasso
I
show.
didn't. Yeah, but I didn't watch it like completely. It was just the highlights.
Yeah, you saw the Golasso show, which, by the way, Red Zone for soccer for Champions League, amazing invention. Whoever created that should have gotten 10 promotions since. Amazing invention. Yeah, I mean, well, look, I don't think Young Boys, I still think that they finished last. I'm pretty sure I picked them to finish last, didn't I?
I think we both did.
I think we both did. I'll tell you one team that I definitely did not pick to finish last, and that is last place Union Berlin. 0-2 right now. They were up 2-0 against Braga, correct?
Union Berlin was up 2-0, choked it away, and then I believe the winner was a screamer.
In the 94th minute, I want to say.
Sorry,
94?
the winner wasn't a screamer, but one of the Braga goals was a screamer. It was the last minute of stoppage time when they conceded the winner.
I don't know. That's bad. That's bad, actually. That's so bad.
Yeah, it's
And
heartbreaking.
heartbreaking for them. I was really rooting for them to pull. Now, again, it's not the end of the world. They can still, in theory, finish first. Honestly, they could. I think they could finish first in theory. I mean, anyone after 2 games could finish first in theory, but it's not looking too good for Union Berlin right now, especially considering those were their easier. Well, Braga was supposed to be the easiest game that they had, so not looking too good right now. Another underperformer. No, go ahead.
They conceded a goal late match day 1 and a goal late now in match day 2, just to take no points away from it. It's very heartbreaking.
Speaking of no points, seems like there's no points on the red side of Manchester.
Yep, that team might be the worst team in the Champions League right now.
You think so?
The biggest underperformers. It is a mess.
Oh, and it's somewhere is a mess when Juicy calls them a mess. That's like his favorite thing. If you're on Juicy's mess list, oof, it's not looking good for you. That should be a thing. Juicy's mess list. It's oof. I
Yeah.
mean, even
Aside from Oyland, they looked terrible.
I
Terrible.
Rashford doing nothing. Or he got the assist, right?
They should call back De Gea because Onana is he is terrible.
Honestly, I'm not even too I'm not too upset about the chip from Icardi because I feel like it was almost so like weird and strange that it threw him off. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But the other goals, I don't know. And Icardi missed a penalty, so this could have been worse. Oh, never mind the fact that Casemiro got a second yellow. This was a mess all around.
It was a bad pass, a bad giveaway from Onana, led to a terrible tackle from behind from Casemiro, gets the red. They missed the penalty, but Man U is still a man down, and they ultimately concede the third goal.
Also, Amrabat keeping Icardi onside for the winning goal was pretty bad.
I mean, he's the best left back in the world, no?
Amrabat?
Yeah.
I'm still so shocked that that's where he's playing. Look, he was good in the World Cup, right? We enjoyed him in the World Cup, but this is a totally different animal, obviously. They weren't even in Turkey. They were at Old Trafford. It's oof.
Okay.
It does not look good for them. Yeah, so Manchester United are in bad shape, but again, as we said, anything could happen. It's too early, and I would not be surprised because Manchester City are on my list of or not City, United are on my list of teams who always seem to just get lucky and just find their way through or pick up momentum at the right time and kind of just skate by. So I could still see them going through and finishing second after this and just going to run of games and then it's Ten Hag is a genius, blah blah blah, and then we move on and then we rinse and repeat. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they start picking up points and then they start doing well again. But they definitely don't deserve it, that's for sure. They were terrible. But speaking of another terrible result for a team and another result that finished 3-2, your boys, the Royal Anteaters. They also gave up they gave up a 2-goal lead to Shakhtar Donetsk. A 2-goal lead. They're up 2-0 and lost 3-2 to Shakhtar. Absolute shambles. Losing to a team who don't play anywhere near their home stadium. It's a skeleton squad at this point now. That's another result that really caught my eye. The Royal Anteaters being down 3.
Did they miss a penalty at the very end of the game to tie?
I
believe they missed a penalty at the very end of the game.
I'm not sure.
To come out with a point in the game.
They might have. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh my God. Yes. What's his face? Spurs. Vertonghen.
No.
Oh, Alderweireld. I'm sorry. Toby Alderweireld. Yeah. How could I don't even know why I forgot that. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Of course, you can't take the Spurs out of the boy.
Is that why you picked Bayern to win the Champions League?
That is because they took the boy out of Spurs. It's not looking too good, bro.
Yeah, but going back, I mean, blowing a 2-goal lead, giving up 3 and then missing a penalty to kind of save grace. Oh, that's gut wrenching. Now they play Porto next.
You know what else is gut wrenching? Your
Let's hear
your your favorite team losing this game week.
my favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
They worried about the wrong 15th place team.
Who's that?
The mighty Arsenal.
That's not my team.
That you're a closet Arsenal fan.
No,
Closet Arsenal fan.
absolutely not.
Yup. After going up very quickly, 1-0 in the 14th minute, courtesy of a Gabriel Jesus goal, Arsenal proceeded to lose against RC Lens, aka Lens, aka the camera lenses. What are we gonna say about Arsenal? It's the reason why they dropped out of my top five, right? They could not handle the pressure of the Champions League. Okay, this
Yeah,
is this.
Saka came out of the game with a knock. That isn't great for the squad. And two different teams from match day 1 to match day 2. They were kind of looking like the team in white from London that isn't in the competition.
The team in white from London, who could that be? You mean the team that isn't in any European competition?
Yes.
Yes, it's not looking good for the mighty Arsenal, but I'm sure that they'll bounce back. Not a good result for them. A little bit embarrassing, especially considering who scored the second goal of the game, and Eli Wahi. Demetri and I know a bit about him. And yeah, so not a great result for Arsenal. So it was not all smooth sailing, roses, and all this stuff. But you know what's one game that we really haven't expanded on the most? And I want to hear your thoughts on it because I know you got a chance to really watch it. That's Newcastle United versus PSG. I know that we spoke a little bit about it in my power rankings, but we just gave you a gist of what was a absolute demolition of the Parisians by Newcastle United, basically Champions League newcomers at this point because it's been 20 years since they've been in the Champions League. Newcastle United. What did you think of this game?
Yeah, PSG did not look up for it. Mbappe seemed lost, wasn't getting any help from Dembele, but we knew what to expect from Dembele in big Champions League matches. We saw him at his time with Barcelona. Alexander Isaac showing up, performing that whole Newcastle team. Trippier was up for it. He did get that Mbappe jersey for his son after the game.
I did see that.
But I mean, that might have been the only highlight involving PSG because they got run off the pitch. And St. James's Park was bumping. The atmosphere might be the best atmosphere in an English stadium in the Champions League. Out of this world.
Imagine being Miguel Almiron going from MLS to scoring in the Champions League against PSG. I mean, how must he feel? It's pretty crazy. It's actually pretty crazy. Guy scored in the Champions League. Of course, my boy Bruno with an assist, Bruno Guimaraes. Man of the match performance. I mean, FootMob has him at an 8.5 right here. Seemed like he was balling out. I can't believe it. A Longstaff, Shar, Burn. These are not the kind of names that you'd be expecting to be scoring on Champions League nights, especially when you look at the other side, when you have guys like Marquinhos, Donnarumma, who we know is Fraudarumma at this point because he's a fraud. Hakimi, we have Hernandez, Mbappe, Dembele, and we got some new World Cup, what's the word that I could give them, guys from the World Cup who really got hyped up. Gonçalo Ramos and Randall Colomuani. Both those guys, nowhere to be found. I don't know. Seems like maybe they're a little bit hyped, or more hyped than they should be.
Yeah, it's also the second big result in the Champions League for Newcastle. Although they didn't look convincing match day 1, they were able to get a result in Italy against AC Milan, and at home they took care of business and crushed PSG. They take care of business at home and are able to scrape results away. I could see them staying atop the group.
There's no reason why they can't. They're in the driver's seat now, right? I mean, they have 4 points.
4 points, and next up is Dortmund. Probably on paper the easiest of the three competitors that they have.
No way.
But there really is no easy.
No, there's no way Dortmund is easier than Milan.
I would say they are.
You think so? I don't agree with that. No way. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. Other than that, when it comes to the results, obviously there were results like Sociedad winning against a very young, hungry Salzburg team. That was a good result, of course. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking at all these results, and what you're taking from it is everyone is just about where we'd expect them, aside from Manchester United and PSG, right? Basically, everyone else is right where we'd expect them. Like, I mean, I didn't think Arsenal was gonna walk this group, even though actually maybe I did. I might have said that they're gonna walk this group, right?
Everyone is where they should be. I mean, Sevilla is in third, so we see what they're doing.
I see what they're doing there. It's going all right to plan for Sevilla. Now, what a story it would be for Lens to get through in this group after being 15th right now in Ligue 1. That'd be very interesting. That's a storyline to keep track of, to keep an eye on. Another story to keep an eye on is Benfica in last place in their group with Sociedad in first, Inter in second, but Inter only in second on goal differential. So, other than that, like, this Champions League, although interesting, has been going just about how it should be, how we'd expect it. But hey, look, there's plenty more to come. We're very excited for it. We just wanted to give you guys a quick little recap of this week's game week 2 results. Demetri, again, very upset about his team Arsenal losing 2-1. And I guess he's a little happy about his second team, Barcelona, also coming out with a 1-0 win. But other than that, I mean, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the show, the Golasso show.
Listen, I might be upset, but your team only has 1 point through 2 games. So let's leave it at that.
I still don't know who my team is.
The team from Switzerland, stop playing them down.
That's not my team.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, enough. That's not the team that I support in this is Bayern Munich. They're gonna win. They're gonna win the Champions League. Why? Of course.
You're a front runner.
Tuchel. My boy Thomas Tuchel. He's gonna take Bayern to the promised land again.
We shall see.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, any other closing thoughts for you?
No closing thoughts for me, but an interesting match day 2.
That's for sure. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this match day 2 recap, or match week 2, or game week 2 recap of the Champions League. We are going to bring you a preview, and I would say in about a few days we're going to bring a preview. No, actually we don't have to. Not yet. We'll bring a preview soon for game week 3. We have an international break now, so that's going to suck. But so we're going to take that time to try to pump out some more content for you. Other than that, my name is Pano.
I'm Demetri, aka Juicy.
And we're out of here.